The silence creeps in as you drive down a winding road. The moonlight trickling in as you peer through the windshield, hoping to catch a glance of the building you have heard about only on the TV. Your heart beat pounding in your ears as you creep down the road with the miles disappearing beneath the wheels of your car. The trees tower over you as you creep further and further away from the homes and shining lights. As you round the last bend, the complex appears right in front of you, the darkness encompassing the building and the ominous glow that seems to come from the inside. The feeling of being watched as you slowly pull up and park your car. The tour guides standing in front, laughing and joking, as if the building's presence doesn't seem to affect them. Taking a deep breath, you turn off the car and stepping onto the grounds of the Waverly Hills Sanatorium. Hello everybody and welcome to Killer Cafe Podcast. I am your host, Jennifer. Welcome. This is a place where we talk about killers, crime, as well as spooky, scary, and sometimes skeletons. Hello, how are you? I hope you're having an absolute wonderful day. And I'm so excited to dive on into today's topic, which is Waverly Hills Sanatorium. Now, this is the place that I've been wanting to go for a very, very long time, and unfortunately, I am not able to go right now, being out here in Idaho, but hopefully one day I'll be able to dive on in and actually go and see this location, because it is reportedly one of the most haunted locations in the States. And I'm so excited just to, see for myself. I know they're having tons and tons of events and raising money right now, so hopefully one day I'll be able to actually do that. So, grab a drink, grab a blanket, and let's dive on in to the Waverly Hills Sanatorium. This property was originally bought by Major Thomas H. Hayes, and it was the home for him and his family, and he later built a tiny one-room schoolhouse for his daughters, and he hired a teacher of the name Lizzie Lee Harris, who absolutely adored the novels by Sir Walter Scott called the Waverly novels. She later asked Hayes if she could name the schoolhouse this, and Hayes fell in love with the name, so he later named the property Waverly Hill. In early 20th century, with the tuberculosis sweeping the nation in the United States, and Louisville was no exception, and it was hit particularly hard due to the fast-growing industrial economy, as well as a location within the Ohio Valley, and along with no real airflow throughout the city. The Board of Tuberculosis Hospital was founded in 1906, and went to find an appropriate location for the tuberculosis hospital. Waverly Hill was ideal due to its distance from the city, along with being a quiet location and in high altitude. The board loved the name Waverly Hill and kept it, although no one really knows when the second E in Waverly was dropped. Built in 1908 and opened for business on July 26 of 1910, the building started off as a two-story building with a high timber design, and with the administration building as well as an open-air pavilion for the patients. This original building was meant to house 40 to 50 patients, ideally half female and half male. However, as the disease rampaged throughout the entire town, this building saw more than 140 patients at a time, and starting the construction of a larger, more permanent building began in 1924. This building would be 4 stories with brick and concrete, with 108,000 square feet, including up to 100 rooms. This was built to hold up to 400 patients, and this building was open for business on October of 1926. By the 1930s, this disease was the leading cause of death in Kentucky, and then Kentucky led the nation in tuberculosis deaths, mainly due to the lack of state funding long-term treatment options, as well as permanent housing for patients like Waverly Hill. Over 2,000 a year were dying of this in Kentucky alone, and unfortunately, if you were going to Waverly, many said that you never left. Treatment for tuberculosis at the time was sunshine, fresh air, as well as food high in protein, vitamin D, A, and C, as well as bed rest. This soon became a community not only for the patients, but for those who took care of them as well, with many of them having to say goodbye to their lives outside of this place. Oddly enough, though, they would have visitor days for these patients where families could come and visit before they left and just went on about their lives outside of this community. This building was in business until 1961 when the TB antibiotic was successful, and it was later closed down and quarantined until 1962 when it was later reopened as a nursing home that became known as the Woodhaven Medical Services, a geriatric facility. Woodhaven Medical was closed by the state in 1981. After that, Waverly Hills did fall into dark times where it was vandalized, damaged, as well as nearly condemned. And up until 2001, many owners didn't really feel the need to put this back into its formal luster. And in 2001, the owners decided they wanted to do something about it and started converting it into what it originally was. As of right now, it is open to paranormal investigations, many different events, as well as normal daytime tours, historic tours, and Halloween tours during October. But with the history out of the way, let's talk about what it's really known for, which is the paranormal. A lot of the ghosts residing there are said to be the nurse from 502, the nurse that jumped from the top, as well as Timmy and Bobby, the two little boys seen running around, and as well as the older homeless man with his dog and a possible caretaker that had passed away. Now, these are many different accounts that a lot of people have, but not really anyone knows about the deaths of the nurses. A lot have not been verified, but as the rumors go, these are the two nurses that have passed away there. The nurse in 502 was pregnant out of wedlock, and so distraught and upset, she decided to take her life with a fixture where she wrapped it around and later hung herself. And the second nurse who decided to jump from the top of the 5th floor, where she later plummeted to her death. Timmy and Bobby are said to be two patients or possible children of patients that were there and later came to their death due to contracting TB. The maintenance man that is seen walking around, he used to take care of many different people and take care of the building. And as his old age started to wane, he later contracted TB and passed away in the building itself. The older man and dog are said to have lived there when it was later nearly condemned, and one night something either pushed them or they fell inside of the elevator shaft and plummeted both to their deaths. Many say the dog was possibly pushed and the older man went after them, or the older man was pushed and the dog went after him. But as I said, the rumors are still unknown as to what originally happened. There are many others, one of them being an older woman who has shackles and chains around her arms and feet, possibly an older woman from the Woodhaven Medical before it was later shut down, and says to have moaned and screaming, "Help me," and when you approach her to try to help, she will later turn and scream and run away. There is another one called the Creeper. He is known to climb across the walls, ceilings, and follow you as you walk throughout the entire premises, and not really is known much about this person, only that they might have just embodied the trauma that they went through in the Woodhaven Medical. There are many different photos, videos, and so much more captured throughout this entire building that encase the paranormal, as well as the body chute is known to have many moans, screams, calls, and such as you're walking down to the bottom of the body chute. This place was active for so long and so much death and tragedy happened in that it's not surprising that the possible residual energy and spirits are locked in that building. With a little over 8,000 deaths of what people might have died there, but the records are still fairly fuzzy. Many say to have tens of thousands of deaths, as almost 63,000 have died there, but most records show that maybe at the max about 300 died a year. Not much is known other than that of the death records, and there's no real records of any staff dying there unless they have contracted TB. But with all that being said, what do you think? If you've been to Waverly Hills, let me know down in the comments below. Tell me about your paranormal experiences and what happened to you, as well as tell me down below what you would like to hear next. I hope you all are having a beautiful day, or any point of day that you are viewing this, and I hope you all like, share, subscribe, and all those fun YouTube things. And I will see you all next week. Bye.
Yo sé,